Good morning. It's Saturday morning. We're inside because it's too humid to be outside. It's like 98%. It's like swimming. So we're inside today, reading from Acts 18 1 through 4. So after this, Paul left Athens and went to Corinth. And he found a Jew named Aquila, a native of Pontus, recently come from Italy with his wife Priscilla, because Claudius had commanded all the Jews to leave Rome. And he went to see them, and because he was of the same trade, he stayed with them and worked, for they were tent makers by trade. And he reasoned in the synagogue every Sabbath and tried to persuade Jews and Greeks. So there are several things there that are clues to the sort of larger historical context of Paul's work. He goes to Corinth, which is a sea coast town, a town where ships would come in and unload, and then they would haul stuff by barge across this isthmus to another city where they would load them back up and go, and they would save sailing all the way around. So it was a very cosmopolitan place full of sailors from everywhere, people from everywhere, and it was a great place for Paul to do his work. Pretty big city, as cities went in those days, and so Corinth is a city, and he goes there and he finds Aquila and Priscilla, who are husband and wife, who are Jews. Aquila is from a place in what we would call northern Turkey, on the Black Sea, but has been in Rome, and they were left Rome and came to Corinth because Claudius said all the Jews have to leave. As I recall, Claudius was emperor around the late, maybe early 50s. I think he's the emperor before Nero, I think. I'm not sure. I should look that up. And Claudius expels all the Jews from the city of Rome, and so they go to Corinth. Well, there they meet Paul, and he stays with them and works with them. They're tent makers, so they make they make tents out of factory produced canvas, right? No, probably out of skins or something. But this is Paul's original training as a trade as a youth, and so he knows what to do, and so he stays there and works with them. Now that's where we get the phrase a tent making ministry. If you become pastor of a church of, say, 40 people, way out in the middle of nowhere, where there's not a lot of money, and they're going to pay you $15,000, $20,000 a year, but that's it. Then you're going to have to be a tent maker. You're going to have to find another job to supplement your income. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to actually make tents. You could do anything. You could be a plumber. You could be, a car salesman, electrician, any job that you are skilled at, you can get. And so that's called tent making. There are people out there in the world who believe that all pastors should be tent makers. But that's not the way that society has evolved and that we've set this up. So that's just not the way that we do it. But every time I see one of these guys, like, on the TV, you know who I'm talking about, these flashy guys with the perfect teeth, buying another airplane or building another mansion, you think, you just want to, punch him in the face. You just want to say, hey, stop it. They're giving the rest of us a bad name because people say, well, all pastors are interested in his money. No, all the TV pastors are interested in his money, while the rest of us are just trying to get by. And and doing the best that we can with what we have. Now, Paul, who is not paid by anybody, just takes takes whatever offerings he's given, takes the hospitality that people offer him, takes the meals that are given to him, and in this case, the work. So he stays with them, he lives in their house, and he works with them, and presumably they pay him for his time and his efforts, and so he's able to get by that way. I suspect, and there's no proof of this, but something had to happen. I suspect this is kind of how Jesus functioned. We don't have evidence that he went and built things himself, but I believe that the fishermen and others around him went and worked, went and fished one night and came in and sold the fish, and then they had money for the next couple of days of their ministry, and that's how they supported themselves as they traveled around. Now, they also had offerings and things from other people. I remember once many years ago, I was given the duty of contacting some churches in the area where I lived, just to see what was going on and how they were doing. And one little church wrote me back. This was before email and everything, so I sent them all a letter. And this one church wrote me back and said, well, we have like 6 people in worship, and we worship once a month, and we're going to keep this church open. Basically, they were keeping it open until the elderly people in the church who had founded it died. And they had a couple of people who came and preached, and they named them. And they said, basically, we open it up once a month. We have a minimal electricity bill, and then we give the preacher whatever the rest of the offering is that we get. And that's how we survive and continue. And we're doing just fine, and we're bumping along until someone dies, and then we'll probably close. And that was honest, and I thought it was good. And so you see, this minister was just, they'd take up an offering and they'd give it to the minister, except for the $20 they saved for the power bill. So not a bad way to do things. It's not the way that we do things at our church or the other churches that I've been a part of, but it's a way to function. And so that's what we do. That's what Paul did. So he's in Corinth. He's living with Priscilla and Aquila, and they're good people. And we'll see what happens to him next Monday morning. So we'll see you then. Have a great weekend.